All right, hello, cranks and cranklets. So, many times, we talk about the unpredictability of baseball, and we've been doing this 19th century and dead ball tournament. And the two teams that are going to be clashing tonight in this game one of a best of seven in round three of this tournament, uh, neither team was expected to advance this far, and they both did. So tonight will be game one between the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, the 1884 Providence Grays, hoping some people will come in, but I've been holding this one off, waiting for cousin Ken Castro and Clinton Parks to be in here at the same time. But looks like I might be holding that off forever. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the game. So just as a quick review, um, the 1894 Baltimore Orioles in a best of five series. It was a hard-fought series. Each game was a battle, a war, if you will. The 1894 Baltimore Orioles defeating the 1885 Chicago White Stockings, a titanic team for its time, 3 games to 2. And then, in what was probably the upset, the 1884 Providence Grays dispatched the 1912 Boston Red Sox. Again, a tough series, by 3 games to 2, and that brings these two here. In the other bracket, or the other part of this round three, the 1907 Chicago Cubs with a 1 game to 0 lead over the 1908 Cleveland Apps. So we're going to just get into it and play it and do it. So this is Baltimore and Providence, game one. All right. And we're going to be at Providence. We'd had to use Huntington Avenue grounds since we couldn't find an image of Messer Street Field where the Providence Grays played. All right, and obviously the Grays are going to go with their usual lineup. So we're just going to go ahead and do a little computer lineup, and they will be, of course, starting old Haas Radbourn. Radbourn probably will be able to start every single game in this best of seven. So here we go. Hope you enjoy it. This battle of the 19th century here. It is now 10:25 p.m. on the East Coast. And welcome into Huntington Avenue grounds. We're going to pretend that this is Messer Street Field. Doesn't really matter. All right, let's look at the weather here at game time. So it is 51 degrees, clear, wind 6 miles per hour, left to right. And the starting defense for the 1884 Providence Grays: in left field, Cliff Carroll. In center, Paul Hines. In right, Paul Radford. From first to third, at first base, Joe Start. At second, Jack Farrell. At shortstop, Arthur Irwin. At third base, Jerry Denny. Catching, Barney Gilligan, and taking the mound, old Haas Radbourn. So Ken Castro says, all right, don't know what to expect here. Well, you have full managerial duties, so you're here, and I knew that you would already want to start old Haas Radbourn. So leading off for the Baltimore Orioles, stepping in here, is Joe Kelly. And Kelly in this tournament hitting .378 with 11 runs batted in. We're ready to get started here. Hope you enjoy this battle. These two great 19th century teams, neither were expected to make it this far. So a good crowd here to witness this, cranks and cranklets, and enjoy Radbourn's pitch. This one, a comeback to the mound. Old Haas up with it, and he fires on to Joe Start to retire Joe Kelly. We are underway. Little Napoleon, John McGraw now, hitting .289 in this tournament. 6 runs batted in for Little Napoleon. Looks like only the two of you are here. So Clinton, you will be able to make substitutions. So pinch hitters, pinch runners, relief pitchers, and Ken will have full managerial duties for these first 2 games. And then the middle 3 will go back to Baltimore, and then you will have full managerial duties. And it'll just switch back and forth. So welcome in. All right. Here we go. So again, I ask you guys, please remember there's a 6-second lag from when I say something and there's action on the screen till it reaches you, and then there's a lag back. So try to anticipate a little bit. Throw up an emoji. I don't care what it is, as long as I can see it in my peripheral vision, we're good to go. All right, so 1 out here, and third baseman John McGraw now at the plate. Old Haas has the sign from Barney Gilligan. Here is the delivery, the 0-2, and McGraw, another comebacker to Radbourn, and this one is going to be juggled by Joe Start, and that will be an error on Radbourn, so kind of a bad throw. Joe Start keeping it around his vicinity, keeping McGraw to keeping him on first base. So McGraw with excellent speed, by the way, in 1894, 78 steals for McGraw. Again, Clinton and Ken will know this being in here that you'll see no stolen base numbers for the Providence Grays. Stolen bases were not yet kept as a statistic. However, Action PC Baseball has a built-in algorithm to deal with that. Also, let me just take a quick thing really, really quickly. Not only will McGreevy 2 be starting up soon in the next week or so, after I get used to this new job, I learned today that Action PC Baseball, and this is the only baseball simulation, at least digital, that I know this, will actually adjust to the rules of the day in terms of balls, strikes, everything else, as long as it's played pitch by pitch. So there's going to be some sort of 19th century project coming up. Those games will be pitch by pitch, and this way we can maybe do something like an 1884 Grays or an 1885 White Stockings or something like that. I'm going to sort of do some research into the 1880s. I'd appreciate the assistance of Ken Castro, Clinton Parks in researching this. So it wouldn't be a cross-era thing, but actually one of these teams knowing now that it will adjust to those rules of the era. All right, that being said, back to it now. And here's Dan Bruthers. Bruthers hitting .472, 2 home runs, 7 runs batted in, 1 away. So big error by Radbourn. See if that comes back to bite the Providence Grays. So McGraw has an aggressive lead at first. Radbourn with a check of the runner. And here's the delivery to Dan Bruthers, twirled in there. There goes McGraw. Gilligan with the throw. The tag by Arthur Irwin, not in time. And Little Napoleon now in scoring position. I have a feeling this is going to be a lot like the Baltimore Orioles Chicago White Stocking series in that no lead is going to be safe. All right, so McGraw, you can see he's got his eyes on third. The count 0-1 now to Bruthers. Here comes the Radbourn 0-1 delivery. Fastball swung on, chopped to first. Joe Start will take this to the bag unassisted to retire Bruthers for out number 2. And John McGraw now at third base. And that sets the stage for wee Willie Keeler, the right fielder, having a damn fine series or tournament. Hitting .350 with 5 runs batted in. Gilligan ready to receive. Radbourn working out of the stretch. Keeler swings in the first pitch. Base hit. Right field. McGraw will come in to score as Hines and Radford converge. Hines up with the ball and gets it into the infield. So Baltimore tallies one here in the top of the first inning. Center fielder Steve Brody bats with Keeler on first. Wee Willie Keeler, 32 thefts in 1894 for the Orioles. Old Haas throws over, and back is Wee Willie Keeler. And really, really privileged to have 2 extremely knowledgeable baseball friends, family, and managers here tonight. Cousin Ken Castro and the Admiral Clinton Parks. All right, Brody waits for the delivery from Radbourn. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Keeler already in motion, fly ball to right. Radford sets his sights and brings it down for out number 3. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error. And after 1/2 inning, it's the 1894 Baltimore Orioles 1 and 1884 Providence Grays coming to bat as Aaron Reed joins us here and what we're going to call Messer Street Field. So welcome in, Aaron, home of the Providence Grays. Look at the starting defense for the 1894 Baltimore Orioles. In left field, Joe Kelly. In center, Steve Brody. In right, Wee Willie Keeler. So 2/3 of this outfield in the Hall of Fame from first to third. Dan Bruthers, Heine Reitz, Huey Jennings, and John McGraw. 75% of the infield in the Hall of Fame. This is a loaded team, and so is the other. Wilbert Robinson, Hall of Famer. Probably in there more as a manager, but Robinson having himself a pretty good tournament, as we'll look at. And Bill Hawk gets the start tonight. The interesting thing about these Orioles and why we thought that they were going to be dispatched in their first round is explosive offense, but the pitching. We look at Bill Hawk's numbers here in this tournament. A 10.34 earned run average. He's 0-2. 15 2/3 innings pitched. 8 walks, 7 strikeouts in 1894. And the ERAs are just insanely high for these Orioles, but they managed to take care of the 1907 Detroit Tigers and PQ Ribber and John DFW. So two more aficionados here for this battle of these 19th century teams, each of them dispatching some very, very powerful teams. The 1885 White Stockings and the 1912 Boston Red Sox, whom Cousin Ken had predicted would take the whole thing, and they are out. All right, Paul Hines hitting .261 with a home run and 6 runs batted in. Bill Hawk deals now. First pitch swinging is Hines. This one chopped to short. Jennings up with it on to Big Dan Bruthers, and Hines will be the first casualty of the bottom of the first. So one away, Joe Start now. Joe Start hitting .391 in this tournament. Joe Start has made some key plays all throughout the tournament. The lefty stands in. Hawk has the sign. Here's the 0-1 delivery to Start. Change up. This one sent down the line to left. Has some distance, but Joe Kelly camping under that ball. Fine running catch at the foul line. 2 up, 2 down for left fielder Cliff Carroll. Cliff Carroll hitting at a .292 clip with 2 runs batted in our tournament. So Bill Hawk ready to deal. Here we go, the 3-1 to Carroll, and this one chopped up the middle, reached to his right, barehands it on to Dan Bruthers to retire Cliff Carroll for out number 3. So they go in order, and we go to the second, and it's Baltimore 1, Providence nothing. Huey Jennings will lead it off, followed by Wilbert Robinson and Heine Reeds. Hitting a .394 with 4 runs batted in, given that nickname because he used to try to rattle batters from the third base coaching box by yelling one famous game that I talked about last week, Walter Johnson is on the mound, and this is in Johnson's rookie year. And in fact, it was his very first game, and Jennings, who had laryngitis that day, actually had a whistle with him on the third base coaching box and was just blown on the whistle like crazy to try to distract the rookie Walter Johnson. And let's see who can come up with trivia here really quickly. Please do not Google who was the very first batter to face Walter Johnson. So that is our little trivia question for tonight. All right, Radbourn ready to deal to Huey Jennings. Here is the 1-2 pitch. Jennings swings and comes up empty. So a big strikeout there for Old Haas. That's number 1. And Jennings will grab some pine, and Uncle Wilbert Robinson steps in there now. Robinson hitting .382 with 10 runs batted in, including a home run. Radbourn works to him now. The 1-2 pitch, fastball, and this one laced into the gap and right, and Robinson going for 3. Here's the strong throw from Radford. Not in time, so 1 out, triple for Wilbert Robinson and the Baltimore Orioles. And Heine Reeds will come to the plate. The second baseman hitting .355, 7 runs batted in. Ken Castro talking about something about not knowing something. Who's my wife's theory? There isn't no shit. Oh, come on. Yes, you do. You definitely do. All right. But I'm not going to argue with Mrs. Ken, though. Yeah, terrifying thought. Arguing with women, terrifying thing. Just go drink Guinness. All right. Some people said my mic is too hot, others too soft. I still can't figure out what's going on, guys, so pardon if it's a bit bad. All right, Robinson at third. He'll be coming down the line of Radbourn's delivery, pretty sure of it. Reached .385, 7 runs batted in. Radbourn from the stretch in the 2-2 pitch. Reach swings. This one, chopper to second. Farrell's going to go to start, and coming in to score is Wilbert Robinson. So the Baltimore Orioles tally 1 here in the second, Cranks and Cranklets. 1 run each inning. It's 2-0. As Bill Hawk is in there now. Hawk in 1894, a .30 average for the Orioles with a triple, a home run, 16 runs batted in. Dwayne Martz, YouTube Network, is joining us here at Messer Street Field for Game 1 of this 19th century clash. Welcome in. Good to see you, Dwayne. All right, Hawk waits for the Radbourn delivery. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and big swing and a miss. And that takes care of the side, but another run, another hit, no errors. We go to the bottom of the second inning, and it's the 1894 Orioles 2 and the 84, Providence Grays, nothing. As Barney Gilligan will lead it off here, followed by Jerry Denny and Arthur Irwin for the 1884 Grays. Barney Gilligan hitting .227 with 4 runs batted in the tournament. Bill Hawk ready to deal. The 0-2 curveball in there, strike 3 called. So Barney Gilligan will go back to the bench, and Jerry Denny will step in now. One down here. Jerry Denny hitting just 125, does have a home run and 5 runs batted in. Bill Hawk ready to work. Here's the pitch. Denny swings at the first pitch. This one high, this one deep, but not enough as Willie Keeler catches it at the wall. So a big loud out for Jerry Denny, and that's 2 away for Providence here in the bottom of the 2nd inning as Arthur Irwin steps in. And Irwin hitting just .095 in the tournament with a run batted in. And Bill Hawk deals the 0-1, Arthur Irwin, and this one a gapper to left. Irwin's digging for 2, and that is the first hit for Providence, and they make it an extra base hit. So a runner in scoring position for the Providence Grays, 2 down, and I will just go ahead and answer this trivia question. The very first hitter to face Walter Johnson from the Detroit Tigers was Davy Jones. All right. So here's second baseman Jack Farrell, hit .273 in the tournament thus far with 2 runs batted in. Farrell hit .217 for the Grays back in 1884. Hawk checks Irwin at first. Now he delivers the 2-2 pitch, fastball, and that one catches the corner for the 3rd out of the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. 2 in the books here. And it's Baltimore 2, Providence nothing. Back at the top of the order now for these Orioles, left fielder Joe Kelly. Grounded to the pitcher to Radbourn back in the 1st. And that was that comebacker. 3-0. Kelly lays off. Kelly taking all the way on that pitch, and Radbourn just missing a bit outside. As Dwayne and Ken talking about the APA convention. John McGraw, nothing for 1. Kelly aboard at first, 46 steals in 1894 for Ned Hanlon's Baltimore Orioles. Little Napoleon in the box now. Here's the pitch. There goes Kelly. The throw down by Gilligan, and Joe Kelly has the stolen base. So the Baltimore Orioles coming out swinging and running here today. Radbourn has a check of Kelly at second. Here's the 1-0 delivery to McGraw. McGraw cuts on this one, lined right to Farrell. Jack Farrell making a fine play there at second. So 1 away, Joe Kelly holds it second. Dan Bruthers, nothing for 1. Grounded out, moving McGraw to 3rd. And Radbourn lets it go, the 0-2. Fastball, this one, hard ground ball to second. Plenty of time for Jack Farrell to fire on to Joe Start for out number 2, advancing Joe Kelly to 3rd. And there's a look at Jack Farrell. Wee Willie is 1 for 1 RBI, scoring John McGraw back in the 1st. Radbourn out of the stretch. And first pitch swinging, Willie Keeler sends it to Jerry Denny at 3rd. He sets, double clutches, and throws on to Joe Start to retire the side. So this will be the first inning that the Orioles are turned away. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning, and it is 2-0. Paul Radford, Old Hoss Radbourn, and I set these lineups before you came in, cousin. I know you like Radbourn in the 8th, but I wasn't sure you were going to be here. So it's Radford, Radbourn, and Hines. Paul Radford hitting 167. Bill Hawk with 2 strikeouts thus far in the game. The 0-1. Radford swings. This one chopped to short. Jennings has to hurry, and plenty of time, actually, as it turns out, and gets him on the 6-3 put out. 1 down. Jennings has absolutely superb range at shortstop. Old Hoss Radbourn now. Old Hoss hitting just .091. Radbourn can also play right field. So he is the big weapon on this 1884 Grays team. Hawk twirls it. The 1-2. Radbourne. Chopper down to first. Bruthers will take it to the bag himself. So 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And Paul Hines with a 0-for-1. He grounded out to Jennings at short his last time up. Here's Hawk with the delivery. The 1-0. Curveball, and this one laced into right field, base hit. Keeler bobbles the ball, and Hines will get to second. So score that, a single in E9, and Providence with 2 down and a runner in scoring position. So can Joe Start get the runner around and cut this lead in half? Batting in a number 2 slot, he flied out last time up. And steal third. Gotcha, Cousin Ken. All right. So Wilbert Robinson, not the strongest arm behind the dish there. Hines has an aggressive lead off second. Bill Hawk checks the runner. Here is the delivery home. And Robinson guns it to third. The slide, the tag, not in time. Paul Hines stealing third on 2 out. So the count, no balls, 1 strike on Joe Start. Joe Start represents the tying run, and we've seen a couple home runs from these Providence Grays. Hawk now from the stretch, and there is Nathaniel Lentz. He says good evening to everybody. All right, good evening to you, Nathaniel. Good to see you. Hawk works from the stretch. Joe Start swings, bounding ball to third, and fielding that is John McGraw onto Dan Bruthers. So a runner left in scoring position for the Grays. We go to the top of the 4th inning. It's the Orioles 2, the Grays nothing. This is a best of 7. Now the final 2 rounds in this are best of 7, so a lot of baseball to go. And then once this is over completely, this tournament, then we will start to open up McGreevy 2.0, and then a little bit later down the line, a project devoted to a replay of a 19th century team. So that won't go 154 games, obviously, but a lot of fun, thanks to the fact that Action PC does adjust rules based on the era or the year. It's coded right into the season. I just learned that today. All right, Steve Brody leads it off here now at the top of the 4th. Brody last time fly to right center. Mark Roberts, been a while since we've seen Mark. Welcome in, Mark. Good to see you. Welcome to Messer Street Field that's disguised as Huntington Avenue grounds. Old Haas with the 0-1 delivery to Brody. Here's a spitball. This one popped in foul territory. Third base side, giving chase is Jerry Denny, but this is going to make the seats. And the ball tossed back into Old Haas Radbourne. So the count 0-2 on Steve Brody. Radbourne brings it home. Brody swings, and I mean crushes this one to right. Brody is going for 2 as Radford gets to the ball and fires it in. So that's hit number 3 for the Baltimore Orioles. Runner in scoring position now for Huey Jennings. Jennings struck out back in the 2nd. Radbourne sets and delivers the 0-2. Jennings pops this one to shallow right. Coming on and making a fine running catch is Paul Radford. Great running catch there by Radford. That skips by him, and it's extra bases, so Brody remains at second. Wilbert Robinson now comes to bat for the catcher. He tripled his last time. Old Haas now with the 1-1 pitch to Robinson. Spitball, and this one, hard grounder to short, and Arthur Irwin not able to hang on to that little bullet. Runners at the corners, 1 down, so E6, and ignore that 18 errors. He did not make 18 errors in this tournament. All right, so Brody at third, Robinson at first, 1 away. Orioles threatening again here. And Heine Reitz, who is 0 for 1, he grounded to second back in the 2nd, scoring Wilbert Robinson. From the stretch, and the 1-1. Reitz cuts on this one, grounded to short. Irwin to Farrell to Joe Start for the inning-ending double play. So great work here by Providence to turn away the Baltimore Orioles. Once again, they threaten, they do not score, and we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. This game 2-0. The line for Baltimore, 2, 3, and 1. 3 left on. And for the Grays, 0, 2, and 2. And 2 left on. Cliff Carroll will start it off here. The 3, 4, 5 hitters due up for the Providence Grays. Carroll, Gilligan, and Denny. Cliff Carroll grounded to second back in the first. All right, Bill Hawk into a little windmill windup, and the 0-2 pitch, change up, and Carroll sends this one up the middle. Reeds ranging to his right, fires onto Bruthers for out number 1. 4-3 if you're scoring at home. Barney Gilligan, nothing for 1. We've seen Gilligan come through with some clutch in this little 19th century battle through this tournament. Hawk brings it now. The 0-2 pitch. Spitball. Long fly ball to center field. Brody back and gets it at the wall. So a big loud out for Gilligan, and 2 up, 2 down here in the Providence fourth. And that brings up Jerry Denny, who's nothing for 1. He gave it a ride to very deep right field, but Keeler making a great play once again at the wall. Bill Hawk serves it up now. The 0-1. Denny cuts on this curveball, fly to right. This one has a little bit more distance, but Keeler once again just pulling it in. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the 5th inning, and it's still 2-0 Baltimore over Providence in Game 1 of this best of 7. Bill Hawk, Joe Kelly, and John McGraw due up. So Bill Hawk struck out against Old Haas back in the second. Radbourn has 2 strikeouts. He's walked 1. Radbourn possesses 1 of the 2 Providence errors. Radbourn's 0-2. And Hawk, comebacker to the mound. Old Haas fires it on to Joe Start to retire Bill Hawk for the first out of the 5th inning here. Back at the top of the order now for Foxy Ned's Orioles, and Joe Kelly. He is grounded out and walked. Radbourn with the wind in the 1-0 pitch. Swinging on this one, curveball. Joe Start has it, gets it to Radbourn, but it's going to be a bad shuttle. That's going to be scored in E3 as that little throw pulls Radbourn off the bag and allows Joe Kelly to get on base. So 3 errors for the Providence Grays, although this had nothing to do with the glove. Remember that the 1884 Providence Grays weren't wearing baseball gloves. Or very few of them would have been, I should say. Let's correct myself there. So Joe Kelly aboard. Kelly, serious speed with 46 steals in 1894. Joe Kelly has yet to steal a base in this tournament. John McGraw, nothing for 2. Last time up, McGraw lined it right to second base. Charlie Radbourn deals, throws over. And Joe Kelly back ahead of Joe Start's tag. Radbourn brings home the 1-2 pitch to John McGraw. McGraw takes his fastball, 2-hopper to short, and it's going to be Irwin DeFerro. Kelly with a hard slide will break it up. They don't get the throw off in time, so McGraw on the fielder's choice, but 2 down. And Radbourn looking to turn away the Orioles for a 3rd consecutive inning, but he needs to get past big Dan Bruthers to do that. And Bruthers, at this at bat, 447 average with 2 homers and 7 runs batted in. He has grounded out twice in this game. And Cousin Ken calling for the pitch out. All right, here we go. Radbourn fires it home. And the runner goes, Gilligan up with it, the tag, and they catch John McGraw trying to pilfer. So the pitch out, this time catching Little Napoleon. That ends the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, nobody left on. Bottom of the 5th inning. It's Baltimore 2, Providence nothing. Great call there by the Providence manager Castro. And that brings up now Arthur Irwin to start it here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And there's Bernard Stroom. So Bernard having a lot of fun playing 1912. The 1912 Boston Red Sox replay in Action PC Baseball. So welcome in, Bernard. Now we're going back a little further in time, as you can see, in the 19th century. So Ken Castro managing these Providence Grays, and Clint Parks managing the Baltimore Orioles of 1894. Irwin is 1 for 1, doubled back in the second. So Radbourn doing his job and keeping his team in this game, silencing the Baltimore bats now in the third, fourth, and fifth inning after Baltimore scoring a run in the first and second. Hawk brings it, the 1-0 delivery, and Irwin, this one in at the knees for called strike 3. So Bill Hawk picks up his third K of the game. And here's Jack Farrell, hard to manage against those strikeouts. Farrell struck out against Bill Hawk back in the second. The Baltimore boxman ready to deal now to Farrell. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Farrell swings in his fastball. Hard chopper back to the mound. And Hawk off the bump to take care of Jack Farrell. So 2 up, 2 down here for Paul Radford. Radford grounded out in the third. Here's the delivery, the 3-1 pitch to Radford. And this one, Radford lays off and draws the walk. So first walk issued by Orioles boxman Bill Hawk, and a runner aboard, and that brings up old Hoss Radbourn. Radbourn grounded to first back in the third. Hawk with a check of the runner. Radford, no steals. Well, of course, we don't know. So Radford, though, a good leadoff first. Hawk deals the 1-1. Radbourn swings this one, grounder to short. Jennings will go to first, and that will retire Providence. We go to the sixth. The score remains 2-0. Ken was calling the hit and run. Missed that one, sorry, cousin. Not going to be perfect. I guess with me, I was not got to think 19th century now. Hit and runs, 2 outs are still a thing. So mea culpa. I can actually back that up. We're just going to go with it. All right, Dan Bruthers is 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. So what's going to be key for Providence going through this 7-game series is to keep this big bat quiet. Bruthers can turn around a game just as well as any modern slugger. Radbourn with a 1-2 delivery to Bruthers. Curveball, Bruthers swings, and this one line to right. And that's going to be good for a base hit as Radford quickly up with the ball, getting it in. Radford with a strong arm in right field for these Providence Grays. Keeler is 1 for 2. And an RBI in the first, grounded to third in the third. Radbourn brings it. There goes the runner, Bruthers, and they get him. So Bruthers is gunned down by Barney Gilligan, so 2 caught stealings in the game. And Keeler now batting with 1 out and the base is empty, so big play there. Barney Gilligan coming up, throwing not a strong arm behind the dish, but able to get the runner. So Bruthers sits down. Keeler back in the box. Radbourn with the 0-1. Keeler swings. This one hard ground ball, and he's got to hurry his throw. Irwin's throw will go a little awry, and that's going to be E6. But once again, the great play there by Joe Start, keeping the ball near him, holds Keeler at first. So that's the 4th Providence error. And Steve Brody comes to the plate now. The center fielder last time up doubled in the 4th. Radbourn checks the thief Keeler at first. Old Haas with the 1-1 to Brody. There goes Keeler, and this one fouled. This one will make the seats on the right-hand side of Messer Street. Brody back in now. The 1-2 pitch from Old Haas. Nope, he will throw over, and Keeler is just safe. Radbourn brings it home. The 1-2. Brody swings. Grounder to short. Irwin will go to Jack Farrell, who will fire on to Joe Start for the inning-ending double play. So Old Haas Radbourn, after having a bit of trouble in the first 2 innings, has held these Baltimore Orioles scoreless through innings 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. It's the Baltimore Orioles 2, the Providence Grays nothing. So this series, at least, or these 2 teams, not as explosive as the Orioles White Stockings. Paul Hines 1 for 2. Hines has grounded out and singled. Hines not a strong bunter. Bill Hawk brings it. Hines swings, hard ground ball to third. Plenty of time for McGraw. He'll fire it on to Bruthers to take care of Paul Hines for out number 1 here in the bottom of the 6th. And thank you for coming into Messer Street Field. We're just 35 minutes into this game, and we're already in the 6th. Joe Start, nothing for 2. He's flied out and grounded to third. Bill Hawk. Here is the wind and the 1-1 pitch. Fastball. Joe Start, hard hit ground ball up the middle, base hit. So that'll be the 3rd hit for the Providence Grays. Joe Start aboard. And it brings up Cliff Carroll. So now as we get into these later innings, I will pause and look over to the chat to see what each manager will want to do. And there is the glove going up. A hit and run. Okay. So Cliff Carroll 0 for 2 in the game. Hawk checks Start at first. Here is the set and the delivery. And there goes Joe Start. And this one, good one, but just a touch foul on the left-hand side. The count 0-2. We'll see if the Providence manager still wants to go with a hit and run and an 0-2 count and 1 away. So rather gratifying to see a number of folks in here. 7 people watching a 19th century game. Pretty fun. All right, so it looks like the hit and run is still on for Providence as Bill Hawk brings it home. There goes Start, and Carroll sends this one to third base, and McGraw's only play will be to first. So Carroll is retired for out number 2, but Joe Start moves into scoring position, and it brings up Barney Gilligan now. The catcher 0 for 2, once again, waiting for any signs from the Providence bench. Bottom of the 6th action here. So far, Bill Hawk working on a 3-hitter. So 7 hits in the game for these two teams. Baltimore with 1 error, Providence with 4. The wheels turning in the Providence dugout there. Seems so far in this game that Providence, and I see the glove going up, the Providence getting runners on, but with 2 outs. So very hard to capitalize on that, although they've only stranded 3, as has Baltimore. Run and hit. All right. Bill Hawk from the high set and the pitch. And there goes the runner. Joe Start heading for third. This one fouled into the seats, third base side. The count 0-1 now. And I'm going to assume that that run and hit is going to stay on with an 0-1 count. As Bill Hawk peers in, has the sign from Wilbert Robinson. Yep, there we go. Here's the pitch. There goes Start to third. The throw down by Robinson and McGraw, the tag, and they catch Joe Start stealing. So the run and hit not paying off this time. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left. We go to the 7th inning here. Providence trailing Baltimore 2-0. So some aggressive play here by Providence to try to get something going. Let's look at the line now as we go into the top of the 7th here for Old Haas. Radbourn has worked 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. So not one of Radbourn's sharper performances, but again, a lot of credit to hold these Baltimore Orioles scoreless since the 3rd inning. And he will face Huey Jennings, Wilbert Robinson, and Heine Reitz here in the visitors' half of the 7th. Jennings has struck out and flied out in the game. Radbourn with a 1-2 pitch. Jennings, fastball, base hit, center field. Paul Hines and Cliff Carroll converging. Hines gets to the ball quickly, fires into Arthur Irwin at short. So Jennings will hold with a single. 37 steals, the very fast Jennings. And once again, we'll wait to see what either manager wants to do at this point. I don't see Baltimore calling for a pinch hitter at this point, or a pinch runner for that matter, but we'll see what Providence wants to do. Late innings, game 1 of a best of 7. When next we come back to this tournament, we will be returning to the Cubs and Naps. The Cubs holding a 1-0 lead over the Cleveland Naps. All right, here we go. Jennings, aggressive lead off first. Radbourn throws over. Jennings just makes it back. So Jennings a little less of an aggressive lead now as Old Haas brings it. And there goes Jennings, the throw down by Gilligan. This one gets by Farrell into center field, the throw to third, and not in time. Huey Jennings now just 90 feet away, potential third run for the Baltimore Orioles, and there is nobody out. The count 0-1 of Wilbert Robinson. And Radbourn in a pickle here from the stretch. They're going to intentionally walk Wilbert Robinson to get to Heine Reeds. So Reeds is 0 for 2 in the game. So here's the way this works, Nathaniel. And this is from our Ned McGreevy League. So the home manager gets to call all the plays. They want steals, hits and runs, runs and hits, double steals, what have you. The visiting manager, so the visiting team is up, can only make substitutions. So pinch runners, pinch hitters, relief pitchers. So that's why I hit the computer play call unless the glove goes up from one of these guys. Since neither of them play action PC baseball, we can't actually have them sort of managing head-to-head because neither of them play the game. So we have to do it this way. And we found that worked with the McGreevy League. So if I were to signal a steal right now, even if that's what Clinton Parks would want, that would kind of be against our rule. And if neither were here, I would just let the computer call it. So it tends to work, especially over the course of a season, the way we did that. You get to manage half your games and then sort of half manage the rest of your games. Best way we could do it, my friend. But thank you for asking. That's a great question. Huey Jennings at third, Wilbert Robinson at first, nobody out. Radbourn from the stretch, and the 1-2 pitch to Heine Reeds. Fastball in there. So this one catching the outside corner, and that is the third strikeout for Old Haas, and out number 1. Can the great Radbourn pitch himself out of this pickle? Bill Hawk now, the pitcher, has struck out and grounded back to Radbourn in this game. Again, runners at first and third, 2-0 your score, top of the 7th, 1 down. Radbourn with a 3-2 pitch. And Bill Hawk, this one on the outside corner, and Radbourn coming up clutch here for Providence, picking up his 4th strikeout, the 2nd in the inning, 2 away. Back at the top of the order, they just need to get past Joe Kelly. Can Radbourn hold them scoreless for 5 consecutive innings? Joe Kelly in the game has walked and grounded out twice. He was safe in a throwing error back in the 5th. Radbourn ready to deal again from the stretch in the 0-1 to Joe Kelly. Kelly swings, line to short, right to Arthur Irwin, middle of the 7th. What a performance by Old Haas Radbourn. It is 2-0. So what, not to take anything away from these Baltimore Orioles, but Radbourn has just been absolutely asking no quarter and granting no quarter. So pitches his way out of a tough situation once again. Now we go to the bottom of the 7th, and the Grays need to produce something here for Old Haas. Barney Gilligan, Jerry Denny, and Arthur Irwin, the number 4, 5, 6 hitters, due up for the Grays. He absolutely has been dominating. In fact, if we look at the scoring, so back in the first, that first run, McGraw was made, McGraw safe on an error, and then McGraw would score on the Keeler RBI single. So McGraw shouldn't have even been on. That was an error, and that was actually a throwing error by Old Haas Radbourn. In the 2nd inning, Wilbert Robinson with a triple, and then Heine Reeds grounded to 2nd, scoring Robinson. So only one earned run given up thus far by Old Hoss Radbourne, but still, take away that first run, it's still been a Baltimore game thus far. But Radbourne, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, just posting zeros. All right, Barney Gilligan, nothing for 2. Bill Hawk deals. Full count on Gilligan, and Gilligan gets aboard. So this time the leadoff runner is aboard, and a runner aboard for these Providence Grays, and nobody out. That's the second walk issued by Bill Hawk. So we will again check with the Providence manager as Jerry Denny strides to the plate. Denny has given it a ride to very deep right field twice, and Wee Willie Keeler both times at the wall making the catch. So Denny trying to show some power here. 5 runs for these Baltimore Orioles, 3 for the Providence Grays. And really a bit of a pitcher's duel here. Bill Hawk hanging tough and seeing his ERA go from 10 now to 7.48 as we go along. I'm seeing no signs of any movement here from Providence, but I'm going to check our little lag here. We should be good to go. All right, so nothing from Providence. We will go ahead. Bill Hawk delivers to Jerry Denny. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Denny. Fastball. Denny swings. This one grounded hard to Jennings. Ranging hard to his right. Diving stop onto Reitz. Over to Bruthers for the 6-4-3 twin killing. So 2 outs. And it brings up Arthur Irwin. And there is Christopher Slovic joining us in the 19th century. Another famous crank being escorted to his seats here in Messer Field of 1884. It's rumored that Albert Goodwill Spaulding having a look at these Providence Grays here. He is in the stands. As Arthur Irwin with a double and a strikeout. Great to see you too, Christopher. Christopher has been doing not only a lot of college F-ball, but check out his channels for these interesting recaps and what's coming up. I don't want to give anything away. Just check it out. These are a lot of fun. And I watch them even though I loathe F-ball. What he's doing is brilliant, and I hope he does something like that with baseball as well. Hint, hint, Christopher. All right. Hawk deals. The count full, and Arthur Irwin curveball. This one just a little grounder down the first base line. Bruthers will race Irwin to the bag and lose the race. So here we go again. It's the same old story, same old song and dance now for Providence. 2 outs and a runner on, and Jack Farrell will give it a go here. He has struck out, grounded to the pitcher. And there's the glove. And Providence going to call for a steal here, as Christopher Slovic says. He put up a broadcast tonight with Joe Paterno not wearing his glasses. It made the announcer go ballistic when he saw the pick. Oh, wow. Okay, I will have to check that after. As I've said a few times in the broadcast, I'd got to know Joe Paterno, so that'll be a lot of fun to see that. All right. Here we go. Arthur Irwin with an aggressive lead off first. Hawk checks the runner, ready to deal now to Jack Farrell. Here is the set and the pitch, and there goes Arthur Irwin. The throw down will be in time. Arthur Irwin caught stealing to end the 7th. We go to the 8th. The score still 2-0. An unexpected pitcher's duel, and applause and loving cups and diamond pins for both of these pitchers today. John McGraw now, nothing for 3. Little Napoleon was safe on an error back in the first, line to second and grounded to short. Everybody greeting Christopher Slovic, and again, what a great, great broadcaster he is. Love it. Radbourne deals now. The 0-1 pitch to McGraw. McGraw swings on this curveball, chopping to Arthur Irwin, fires to Joe Start, but McGraw is going to beat this one out. So McGraw picks up his first hit of the game, an infield single, and Orioles will be looking for that 3rd run. McGraw, a definite threat to steal. McGraw, 78 stolen bases in 1894. Coming to the plate now is Big Dan Bruthers. He is 1 for 3. Single to right back in the 6th. See what if anything either manager wants to do. Well, again, Baltimore's not going to want to do anything, but pitch out, pick off, what have you. All right, McGraw into his lead at first. Nobody out here in the top of the 8th. Radbourn from the set. Checks McGraw at first and brings it home. There goes McGraw, the throw down by Gilligan, the tag, not in time. And John McGraw picks up the steal. So now the third potential run in scoring position for the 1894 Orioles. Bruther's back in the box. And again from the set as Radbourn checks McGraw at second as the sign from Gilligan. And they're going to now intentionally walk Dan Bruthers to get to Wee Willie Keeler, trying to set up a double play situation here. Bruthers definitely slower of foot than the fleet John McGraw. In comparison, Bruthers 38 steals and McGraw 78 steals. Keeler 1 for 3. RBI single back in the first. He was safe in a throwing error in the 6th. Radbourn now with the 2-2 pitch. Keeler swings, base hit right field. Radford up with it, tearing around third is John McGraw. Radford throws home. The tag by Gilligan is out. Outfield assist to get John McGraw. Whoa, that one, even though this doesn't have cool replays like out of the park baseball or MLB The Show. Let's look at that one again. Radbourn comes up gunning. McGraw ripping around third. Looks like he cut third a little bit actually. And Radbourn with the throw home. Gilligan with the great tag. And they get John McGraw. So 1 out. Radbourn, a doff of the cap out there to right field. The outfield assist credited to Paul Radford there in right, throwing out the speedy McGraw. All right, so Dan Bruthers now the lead runner at second. He'll be trailed by Wee Willie Keeler. Steve Brody, 1 for 3. And Cousin, this has to make you smile. With as Clinton Parks, the manager of the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, masquerading as Ned Hanlon, is incredulous as he grabs the megaphone from the on-field announcer and screams, "What?" The echoes all over Providence here. Back to game action now as the megaphone is wrested from the Baltimore manager. And he's told to go back to his seat in the dugout. All right, Radbourn brings it now to Steve Brody. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Fastball, Brody swings. This one chopped to short. Irwin's only play will be to first. And they get Brody in the throw home as Bruthers was trying to score, and he comes in to score, so the chalkboard not showing that. It is now 3-0, 2 down. So Keeler moves to second. 3-0 now, Baltimore in the lead as Huey Jennings comes in. The way this is going now, it looks like Baltimore poised to take game 1 of a best-of-7 here. Radbourn deals the 2-1 to Huey Jennings. Fastball, Jennings swings, line to left, and right into the between the hands of Cliff Carroll for out number 3. But 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning, and Baltimore Orioles now with a safer margin. It is 3-0. And Jack Farrell will start it off here, followed by Paul Radford and Haas Radbourn, old Haas. Jack Farrell has struck out, grounded to the pitcher. Hawk with the delivery, and Farrell swinging on the first pitch, grounded. Jennings making another great play at short. The throw from the knees after the full extension gets Jack Farrell for out number 1. So 2 great plays there by Huey Jennings. And Paul Radford will now come to the plate. Radford 0 for 1. What a great pitcher's duel this has been. Hawk brings it now. The 0-2, and this one checked swing, but in there for a strike. The head of the bat goes around the first baseline. That was the old rule, when the batter would sort of break his wrists around, and that's how they judged it. So 2 away here for Old Hoss Radbourne, he has grounded out twice. The 0-1, Radbourne swings, and Radbourne tearing down the line, and Radbourne is going to make it to first, and then a bad throw by Jennings, this one getting by Bruthers. Bruthers giving chase, and that is going to be a single and an E6, and Radbourne in scoring position with 2 outs. Again, all through these innings, the Providence Grays getting opportunities, but with 2 down and unable to capitalize on them. Radbourne at second. Grays under their average. What? Right? You've got to look at the bright side. He says the Providence Grays are under their average errors committed. Absolutely. So that's a win in itself, isn't it? All right. 3-0 your score. 8 errors in this game. Again, very, very common, Nathaniel, and this would be something that would plague baseball as the dead ball era moved along. So we're not in the dead ball era here yet, but as dead ball moved on, they, again, it was a very conscious effort to work on errors, and as I've said many times, newspapers would actually report in the headlines, in sports headlines, say, Red Sox defeat the Athletics in an errorless game. We don't see that anymore, right? Small gloves. We're playing with 2 teams here where the baseball gloves were still kind of a new thing, not so much for these Orioles, but these Orioles would have grown up playing baseball with no baseball gloves. For these 1884 Providence Grays, maybe they might have worn what we would think of as like a driving glove, or like what would look like a batting glove, if that. Early dead ballers would sometimes cut, and even 19th century players would actually cut a hole in the palm of the glove, so the ball came to them. Of course, it's going to smack them in the hand, but it was thought that would help trap the ball in the glove. So, yeah, as Ken says, it was common to have upwards of 16 errors per game back in the 1880s. So I think if we do an 1884 or 1885 season replay, you folks will see a lot of errors, and it wasn't due to a lack of skill on the part of these players at all, but a lot of other factors. So if you had a fielding percentage somehow in center field and you were up in the 900s, which nowadays a 900 fielding percentage, if you think about it, is not really good. You're only making 90% of your chances. If you made 90% of your chances in the 1880s, you were, how do I compare it to Joe DiMaggio? You were a great, great outfielder. Yep. Absolutely. This is actually a low error game for this time period. All right, Hawk delivers now. The 0-1 delivery. Radbourne in second. Hines swings. This one high, but not deep enough. Joe Kelly makes the leaping catch at the wall in left field, and that retires the Providence Grays. We go to the 9th, and of course we're being told that Radbourne looks strong. When doesn't he look strong? Wilbert Robinson will lead it off here now. Heine Reeds and Bill Hawk. Bill Hawk pitching a 4-hitter. Wilbert Robinson 1 for 2. He was intentionally walked back in the 7th. Radbourne brings the 0-2 delivery to Robinson. Change up, fly ball down the right field line. Radford in the corner making a fine running catch. 1 up, 1 down. Heine Reeds struck out back in the 7th against Radbourne. Radbourne kicks and fires the 0-2. Reeds sends this curveball to left, and Cliff Carroll has it in his sight, and short of the wall makes the catch. So I'm not sure what you see out there, that little bit of dirt, we would think of as a warning track, but that was probably just the way grass was planted. Now, of course, this is an image of Huntington Avenue grounds. First home of the Boston Red Sox, actually, where this and Exposition Park, the first World Series, was played. Warning tracks didn't become a thing until, I believe, the 1950s. I think Clinton can certainly, I think he gave me the date when that actually became a common thing in baseball. So that's why I keep using the term wall, even though that looks like a warning track. Most of the times you would have fans, Nathaniel, sitting out there, sitting in dugouts in overcrowded games. And this went on even into, as late as 1920, 1921. Radbourne now brings it to Hawk. 2 down, the 0-2 delivery. And Bill Hawk contributes to Old Hoss Radbourne, picking up strikeout number 5. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. And the Providence Grays will try to solve Bill Hawk, who's pitching a 4-hit shutout right now. It's Joe Start, Cliff Carroll, and Barney Gilligan. Yep, so as Ken Castro says, he's replayed the 1884 Grays, and they averaged 6.2 errors per game. And the other thing to consider, too, is this was a faster game and back in those days in the 19th century and dead ball. And this broadcast, or at least this game, will probably end about 20 minutes shorter than the average game time. Usually games were about an hour and 20 minutes back in those days, so baseball was a much faster game. All right, because you were playing inside station-to-station baseball. All right, so Joe Start singled his last time up. Here's the 0-2 delivery to Joe Start. Change up and base hit right field. Steve Brody up with it, gets it into Heine Reeds, and a runner aboard for Providence in the bottom of the 9th, and striding to the plate is left fielder Cliff Carroll. He has grounded out 3 times. Not sure what cousin Ken Castro, manager of these Providence Grays, wants to do. And there's the glove going up. Thank you, 11 folks watching some 19th century baseball. Hit and run being called by manager Castro of these Grays. So he gives a little twirl of the mustache out there as a signal. Hawk checks Start at first. The 2-0 pitch. Starts off to the races. Carroll sends this back to the mound. Hawk will go to first for his only play. So the hit and run, at least successful in that it sacrifices and puts Joe Start into scoring position. And Barney Gilligan, who has come through clutch in this tournament, now steps to the plate with 1 down. He has struck out, flied out, and walked. And why do I feel that that glove is going to be coming up? A possible steal of third, perhaps? We shall wait and see. Again, this is a best of 7 now. We're into round 3. And it will be fun to see how not only these 2 teams, but also the 1907 Cubs and the 1908 Naps will do a best of 7, as these games of the first 2 rounds have been best of 5. And the glove going up, as I predicted. And, all right, straight steal. All right, gutsy play here. Gutsy play. Let's have a little picture here of Bill Hawk. There he is. And here is the set and the pitch. Start going for third. Robinson guns it down to third. The tag not in time. Joe Start picks up the steal. So the potential first run for these Grays. The Grays would like to at least break up the shutout, just 90 feet away. And Barney Gilligan back in there, and the count 1-0 on him. And I'm going to wait because I've seen cousin Ken Castro in the McGreevy 1 League do things like call for suicide squeezes and safety squeezes. So I'm not going to assume anything. I will wait. It's a big decision because once you make the sign for that steal or whatever, you can't take it back. Hit away? All right. I'm presuming that if this was only a best of 3, you would probably be going for the squeeze right here. All right. Hawk brings it now out of the stretch. The 1-0 to Gilligan. Gilligan swings. Chopping ground ball to third. McGraw will go to first to retire Barney Gilligan. But in to score is Joe Start. And the shutout broken up here in the bottom of the 9th. It is now 3-1. This game not over. 2 out. The base is empty for Jerry Denny. Jerry Denny, nothing for 3. He's flied out to very deep right twice and grounded to short. He grounded to a double play, actually, in the 7th. Hawk brings it the 0-1 delivery to Jerry Denny. Denny swings, come back to the mound. Hawk juggling the ball out there, cannot hold on to it. Score that one E1, and Jerry Denny aboard. And now the tying run comes to the plate, and Arthur Irwin, who is 2 for 3. Jerry Denny at first as the Baltimore manager would like the man on the megaphone to tell the Providence manager to stop scratching his posterior and manage. Hit and run being called from the Providence dugout. 2 away here. Jerry Denny, big lead off first base. Bill Hawk brings it. Throw over, and Jerry Denny just back. So Baltimore looking for something to happen here. Will Providence want to risk the hit and run again? As this Baltimore battery seems to be very alert of that runner at first. Irwin steps out, takes a little practice cut there. Hawk walks around the mound. Now Irwin back in the box, and Hawk back up on the bump. And the hit and run is on again. Dan Burke, welcome in, Dan. Was thinking about you, Dan. I've been, so I looked down at the little icon here and haven't done baseball for Windows for a while. So a little baseball for Windows is going to be coming up soon. Here we go. Bill Hawk from the set position and the 2-0 delivery. There goes Jerry Denny, and this one popped in foul ground. Wilbert Robinson back to the screen, and this one out of play. The count 2-1. I guess we're still staying with a hit and run on a 2-1 count. What have you got to lose? Let me make sure though. As the manager of Providence greeting Dan Burke, good Irishman being escorted to his seats here at Messer Street grounds, masquerading as Huntington Avenue grounds. All right, here we go. Hit and run again. Hawk deals the 2-1 delivery. Jerry Denny off to the races, and this one grounded to Jennings is short, and that is your ball game. So despite a valiant effort by Old Hoss Radbourne, the Providence Grays fall in this game 1 of a best of 7, 3-1. Look at our game recap, and then we are done with this game 1. So for the 1894 Baltimore Orioles, 3 runs, 7 hits, 4 errors. For the 1884 Providence Grays, 1 hit, 5 runs, and 5 errors. Bill Hawk gets the win, goes to 1-2 in the tournament. Old Hoss Radbourne falls to 0-2. Highlights for Baltimore. It was really Wilbert Robinson went 1 for 3 with a triple. Having a quick look here just at pitching. Bill Hawk with the victory goes 9 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run, walked 2, struck out 4. Old Hoss Radbourne, who really valiant effort by Old Hoss today. 9 innings pitched, 7 hits, 3 runs. 2 of those were earned. So errors kind of hurting Providence here a bit. Walked 3 and struck out 5. And why I say it was a valiant effort is after giving up a run, an unearned run in the first and then an earned run in the second, Radbourne kept these Baltimore Orioles at bay for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th innings, tallied another one in the 8th, and then Providence managing one in the bottom of the 9th. So I am guessing that Wilbert Robinson will get MVP, but we shall see. And no, the MVP, Bill Hawk. Okay. So stolen bases, Baltimore. So John McGraw with a pair. Joe Kelly had a steal, as did Huey Jennings. For Providence, Paul Hines and Joe Start, each with a theft. Caught stealing, McGraw and Bruthers were caught stealing. And Joe Start and Arthur Irwin. So these were caught stealings and pickoffs. RBI, Steve Brody, Wee Willie Keeler and Heine Reitz each picking up RBI for the Baltimore Orioles. Barney Gilligan getting the RBI, his RBI, the 5th of this tournament. Saw 2 intentional walks. Robinson and Bruthers. Great plays, 2 of them by Huey Jennings, one by Paul Radford. That big outfield assist gunning down John McGraw at home. So what a great play that one was. Baltimore stranded 6, Providence stranded 5. Double plays turned, um, both by both teams. So Providence turning its second, or turning 2, and Baltimore 1. I'm sorry, and that's pretty much it. So let's look at this playoff bracket, and the next time that we do this, it will be the 1907 Chicago Cubs and the 1908 Cleveland Naps meeting for Game 2. The Cubs holding a 1-game-to-nothing lead in that one. As Dan Burke says, agree, Ken. What Ken saying didn't expect this type of result. He says agree. The 9 errors were expected, but not the 3-1 score. Unexpected a run scored. Expected, of course, with the winning team, says Clinton Park. So Game 2 will be at Messer Street, and then we will go to Boston, or go to Baltimore. I'm sorry, for the middle 3 games of this set, and then it will switch around, and Clinton Parks will have full managerial responsibility. And if Clinton is not here, or if Ken is not here, or whichever, we're just going to keep playing through. But the next time we meet, it's going to be Chicago and Cleveland. So this game and the recap and all the other stuff, we're still at 1 hour and 11 minutes, so well short of the average time of a dead ball game of about an hour and 20 minutes to an hour and a half. Thanks, guys. I would do my best, Clinton. So tomorrow night's game, or tomorrow's game, whatever, will be Cubs and Naps. So it won't be tomorrow. If anything, probably Wednesday, or I don't know, July 4th. I don't know what's going on yet, July 4th. I'm not doing anything, but most people are. I'm going to do some anyhow. So that is it. That's it, guys. Already did a doubleheader today, which was a lot of fun. The Hannes Wagners beating the King Kellys in Game 1 of using the decade file for this baseball game. That was a 6-1 win. And then Game 2 was a rain-shortened affair, and the 1980s Hendersons defeating the 1990s Piazzas. So I'll be back with some baseball. It's either going to be MLB The Show or Baseball for Windows. John DFW says, I saw your post in the forums about the baseball history collection. You're welcome, cousin. Thank you. Yeah, I don't like fireworks either, and my cats don't like them. So good. We'll probably do. We'll be coming back then to Providence then Tuesday night. Yeah, John, it is what I said. I mean, I think it's still good. It is still good. There's a runtime error, by the way. If anybody bought it, there's a runtime error. I don't know if it's been fixed yet. I haven't looked at the Action PC forums. If you go into a runtime error with the Baseball History Master or any of the subsets, just switch to another season you have and switch back, and then that takes care of the runtime error. It doesn't return. So, Clinton bought the Silmarillion. Great, great book. Haven't read that in a while. So, that's Tolkien's magnum opus. It is his double magnum opus, if you will, out of so many great works. From the man who considered, called by many one of the most important author of the last 100 years, the last 20th century, or the 20th century, one of the greatest writers of the millennium, whatever. Silmarillion. I always laugh when people say, "Oh, they should make it into a movie." Good luck with that. All right. Hey, PQ River, no problem. You were sketching. Good, 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 good. All right. Still deciding what to do as far as non-baseball on the channel. Not in any hurry to jump into that, but we shall get there. There will be some music, some art, but not in the way that you guys think it'll be. All right, that's it. So Baseball for Windows or MLB The Show, I don't know, coming up next. So give you guys a chance to just kick back, either listen or watch some baseball and roll up one of your own or play one of your own. With that said, I want to thank PQ Ribber, Clinton Parks for having a great time here, our professor, and then the heart and soul of this channel, Cousin Ken Castro, John DFW, again, a billion thanks for what you do, maintaining our Discord. One of my favorite Irish folk in here, Dan Burke in here with us tonight. Thank you, Dan. Nathaniel Lentz has been just absolutely superb interacts with the community. Nathaniel, are you still here before I cut off? Because I remember that you had a question about Action PC Baseball. Do you still need me to show you that about ballparks before we cut this out? I'll wait for a minute. In fact, in the meantime, I'll just continue with these. To continue thanking everybody. So, Nathaniel, thank you so much for coming in. Mark Roberts was here with us tonight. Bernard Strom, check out his channel. He's doing 1950 Red Sox on PC Replay Baseball, and he's also going to be doing, and has already started, in Action PC Baseball, a replay of the 1912 Red Sox. So see if he can take them to the World Series and see if they'll meet the Giants again. Dwayne Martz, YouTube Network, please subscribe to that channel. Dwayne, thank you for coming in. Appreciate it very much. Very, very, very much. And Aaron Reed was here. Oh, it was for Out of the Ballpark? Oh, so it wasn't for Action PC. What was your question, Nathaniel, as far as Out of the Park goes? I thought it was for this game, but I can bring up Out of the Park. Whatever you need, let me know. I'm here. I'm hanging out. This is a short stream for me. So, Out of the Park Baseball, I should bring up Out of the Park Baseball, and I shall indeed. We'll let Steam get started here. Steam has woken up. There we go. So I'm guessing it's about installing ballparks, and I'm guessing by your question that you didn't purchase the game through Steam, but rather right from Out of the Park Developments. Would that be safe assumption? The summer sale. Well. GOG, by the way, guys, doing their summer sale at the same time. Okay, so you purchased it through Steam. Okay. So as soon as I have your question, I will know whether to go first into Steam Workshop or to go right into the game. Probably be able to just do both. Let's just go ahead. We know we're not doing anything with Walson tonight, although that's coming on the channel. This game is so fun to play now. It really is. So when we're in the mood for some murder, and I'm guessing we're going to go to Workshop. So this is where you get that great, the stadium mod it's called, although I hate the word stadium for baseball. I like to call them ballparks. But you get the stadium mod and the uniform mod. Those are great. There's really not a lot of other mods going on unless there is a Tops. I don't know if this is this for Perfect Team? Oh yeah, don't care about Perfect Team. Don't care about it. So here's the thing. If you're used to Steam, you know that in the Workshop, when you click on something, okay, when you apply an old ballpark, it always brings up Citizen Bank. Oh, I know. Okay, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing exactly. So let me show you. I don't know if that's going to happen with me, but I will show you. I know exactly what you're doing. But for those of you who have purchased it right now, Out of the Park Baseball, by the way, gentlemen, and if you sleep on this, um, you shouldn't. For those of you that play digital baseball, right now, this game for the entirety of baseball history and all the minor leagues and the Negro leagues, you know, and all that stuff is $19.90. $19.99. Um, there's my little review, which we're not going to worry about. Okay. Okay. As Joe Pesci said, thank you in the drive-through. All right, let's go back to the Workshop here. So in Steam, when you subscribe to something, it will usually automatically download into a game. It works differently for Out of the Park Baseball. You have to subscribe, and then from in-game, you've got to download them. So now we're going to go ahead, go into the game. I'm not going to re-download this mod. Don't need to. But I'm pretty sure I know what's going on here. And while that's firing up, let's shut down Action PC. Give it a second here. Crunchy, 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 crunchy. There we go. Okay, and let's continue. All right. So once you're, and again, Nathaniel, I know you do this. This is for anybody who may not, who does purchase the game. You have to go then to Workshop Central down here, and you will see, now mine says subscribed, right? And then if they're not downloaded and installed, it will say, download and install. So these are already done. This is the uniforms and the stadiums. The stadium mod is really nice because it also gives you the year-specific logo for each team, at least in the major leagues. Haven't tried this with the minor leagues. I'm guessing it does. And then the uniforms are really, really nice. So if you're playing some dead ball, the guys are going to be wearing knickers instead of all the way down and whatever. And you also get uniform or player names in the back of jerseys now. Okay, so once you've installed this, okay, so it's subscribe, but you have to download it and install it, which we're not going to do. All right, now we're going to go to this all-time greatest quick start, and I think we can mess around with it here. There's a couple different files to talk about here in the in out of the park baseball. So we'll just let these load in. And here we are, back to my Pittsburgh Pirates. So when you go to your club's home screen, and again, always play as commissioner. That way you can jump around and play anywhere and do anything. If you don't do commissioner, then there's certain things you can't do. You just go up under your name here and click on Act As, and you can manage any team, but you always have to select one or start unemployed, what have you. So, but always play in commissioner mode, because if you want to adjust rosters, I know I'm getting off topic here a little bit, but if you want to be able to adjust rosters out of the rip, you need to be in commissioner mode. Okay? All right. So what we're going to do now, we are in the Pirates home screen, for instance. So any club, go to settings. When you go to settings, you're going to come over here and go to edit ballpark. Okay. Now you can see this is showing PNC Park, which is what I wanted to do. But let's say I want to bring in something else. Let's do a couple things here. First, there's two different types of files. First is the 3D model itself. Now, if the model comes with the game, all right, this is it's gonna have a different file extension here. Let me see if I can click on this and show you. Yeah. So if it's a park that comes with out of the park baseball, it's going to have the extension .pod. Okay. So when you see POD, you know that comes with the game, and these are nicer looking. Now, all due credit to Mike Silva, who left a nice comment in one of my former streams saying it was nice to see these ballparks being used actually in another baseball game, and he's actually considering buying Action PC. He's a big deal in the modding community. Now, if I wanted to change this, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in, God help me, Three River Stadium. Okay, so I'm going to load a 3D model. All right, so I'm going to go up one. I shouldn't be doing this to my Pirates, but oh well. So I'm going to go down here. I'm going to look for Three River Stadium, and again, this is that mod. So we'll take the 1970 to 74 Three River Stadium. What you want to look for is when it's part of this mod, if it's anything that Out of the Park Baseball hasn't made, it's an OBJ file, which is a wavefront object file. It will automatically load in the textures for day night. You don't have to do it. Just do this, click load, and we wait a minute. And now we have Three River Stadium. But you're not done yet. Okay? So then the next thing that you have to do after, and again, you can change your, change cameras, do anything you want in here, and that's all down here. That's not within the scope of this little quick tutorial. If we go over here to pictures and coordinates, there's what you're running into. There's Citizens Bank Park. Now, this has the park factors and what have you. What I want is Three River Stadium. So go to Actions. Go to Actions, and then what you want to do is manually import data from file into this park, and then Nathaniel, what you want to look up here, this is saying Olympic Stadium. I don't want that. Don't know why it went to that. Go down and find Three Rivers again, or whatever ballpark you're using. Okay, so again, we're using Three Rivers Stadium 1970 to 1974. This is the file you want, the PRK file. This park file is what you want. So click load, and do I want to keep the current ballpark factors for this park? So let's click no, and there it is. The import is complete, and there's Three Rivers Stadium. So the park effect files are in here, and then if I hit 3D model, there's Three Rivers Stadium. That's it. It's that simple. You can, and I need to switch this back to PNC Park. You can, if you want, try to automatically import park data. But I found by doing this, when I first set up this league, I did that for all the ballparks, and I found that it wasn't doing all the ballparks correctly. So just take the time and just do each one manually. So now we'll just go back again. So 3D model, I'm going to load this 3D model up here, and we're going to go up, and we're going to look for PNC. So this is all in reverse now. Where'd you go? PNC. Did it disappear? I know it's somewhere up here. I think I have to go up one more. Maybe up one more. Not sure. Anyhow. I will have to do it another way to restore the park, but that's no big deal. That is no big deal. So I'll just show you one more time how to do this, and then I'll restore PNC Park later on. So we'll just do Three River Stadium 1975 to 2000. You will see a difference. Again, click the OBJ file, click load, and now we've got Three River Stadium at that time. So this is actually what Three Rivers looked like up until it went kaboom. Then again, don't forget, go to Pictures and Coordinates, and see there again, now we have Citizens Bank Park. All right, go to Actions, and manually import data from file into this park. And I'm still in 70 to 74. I don't want that. Go up. You want these park files to match up, because park factors are important in this game. And everything, in fact, is even down to it's georeferenced. I know this is kind of like long, what have you. But then what I'm going to look for here is I'm going to be looking for the PRK file for this. And there it is, Three River Stadium, PRK. Click load. It's going to ask you, do you want to keep the current park factors for this park? It's asking me if I want to keep the park factors for Citizens Bank Park. I don't. So I click no, and it's in there, and you're ready to play. That's it. That's how you do it. And then I've just got to put PNC Park back. So, but no big deal. I hope that helped. I hope it helped. I hope it helped. And with that said, see you guys around the batting cage. Thank you tonight for hanging out for some 19th century baseball. And probably some Baseball for Windows or MLB The Show coming up soon. All right. Thank you, Nathaniel. Glad it did. Have fun. This is really a fantastic mod. Really is. All right, guys. See you around the batting cage.